public service announcement, and I apologize for this. Now I don't know what I was doing or where I was at, but this was brought to my attention a while back from an issue we had. And the thing I want to talk about are CFL light bulbs, compact fluorescent light bulbs. These have been used for probably a good decade or so. More energy efficient than the regular incandescent light bulbs, up to 75% in most of the cases. So that saves people a ton of money as far as energy costs. The problem with CFLs is that they're made with mercury. There's mercury inside here. Now, it doesn't hurt you to touch it or use it in your fixtures. The only problem is when it breaks, or if it's burnt out and you throw it in your trash. So the mercury vapor is even more reactive than mercury already is. The problem with mercury toxicity is that it affects and damages your brain. It gets in there, lodges in those nerve tissues, and continually destroys it. I have this amazing video from the University of Calgary that shows what happens when mercury comes in contact with a nerve cell.
In this experiment, neurons also isolated from snail brain tissue were grown in culture for several days, after which very low concentrations of mercury were added to the culture medium for 20 minutes. Over the next 30 minutes, the neurite membrane underwent rapid degeneration, leaving behind the denuded neurofibrils seen here.
Pretty scary. Those who are at the most risk of toxic accumulation are unborn babies, infants, and children. It has been demonstrated that high levels of mercury in the bloodstream goes right to the brain and nerve tissue. It damages the developing brain and nerve system, making children more susceptible to memory problems, learning difficulties, contributing to ADHD and potentially autism or any other neurological disorder you can think of. Because it damages nerves, you're going to have nerve disorders. It doesn't just affect children, it also does the same thing to us adults. It's just that kids are more susceptible because their brains are still maturing. So if one of these breaks in your home, it's not only a big problem for you, it can also become a big problem for our environment. So if one of these breaks and then you throw it out, or you have a used one and you throw it in the trash, and then it ends up in the landfill, and then eventually it's going to break there, and then mercury is going to be released. Mercury in the air will eventually settle down into water streams, and then gets accumulated into bigger bodies of water, and that's where those microorganisms will change it a little bit and make it methyl mercury. This is a highly toxic form, and that's what builds up in the fish that we eat, the shellfish and other seafood animals, and that's why people have been cautious about the fish that we eat. They've been warning about this for years now. Now, this problem is so serious that the EPA, or the Environmental Protection Agency, has rules for cleanup. I want to go over those few of those rules with you here, and we'll give you the website and all this either in the next post or in the same email. Before you even clean up, you should leave the room. Take all pets and people with you, and you want to open the windows and air the room out for about 5 to 10 minutes before you even clean up. For cleanup materials, also shut off any forced heating and air conditioning systems, because you don't want to start circulating that through the rest of your house. For cleanup, use stiff paper or cardboard, sticky tape to tape up any glass dust, damp towels and disposable wipes, and then you're going to take all that material after cleanup and place it in a glass jar or a plastic sealable bag. One thing you don't want to do, they say, do not vacuum. Vacuuming could spread mercury-containing powder throughout your whole house. And then place all materials in a sealable container or plastic bag, and then promptly place all that debris in an outside trash container. Don't keep it in an inside storage bin or trash container. And then they say, if practical, keep all your windows open for at least the next several hours to continue allowing it to air out. And then next, check your local government about disposable requirements in your area. So I tried to do that locally. Essentially, El Dorado doesn't have anything like this. The closest place for a drop-off of a CFL is in Lowe's in Wichita. So unfortunately, for this reason, I feel obligated to make our office a drop-off site. So if you're not going to go to Wichita on a regular basis, which maybe you do, maybe you don't, but you can drop those CFL bulbs off at our office, and then we'll eventually get them to Lowe's, and then they will properly dispose of them. So please help do your part to protect the environment and yourself from these heavy metals. Now, if you've been exposed to mercury or any other heavy metal that you would like to be screened, there's screening tests that we can do. We have a heavy metal test kit that can check to see if there are any unbound heavy metals in your system. It requires about 10 milliliters of urine, and we can test for the top 6 heavy metals that we normally can come in contact with. I'm offering this screening for free till the end of this month only. Normally it costs about $50, so if you would like to take advantage of this offer, just give our office a call at 316-321-5433.